Imagine this: a glittering studio buzzing with excitement, lights flashing like stars in a Hollywood sky, and a live audience hanging on every word. It's the set of The Talk, one of daytime TV's hottest shows, where celebrities spill secrets, promote their latest hits, and sometimes, just sometimes, things get real. On this fateful afternoon in 2024, Kelly Clarkson, the powerhouse singer and beloved TV host herself, strides onto the stage with that infectious smile, ready to chat about her new album and her journey through life's ups and downs. The crowd erupts in cheers, clapping wildly as she hugs the panelists. Sharon Osbourne, the sharp-tongued rock matriarch known for her no-holds-barred opinions, sits at the center, her eyes twinkling with what seems like mischief. But nobody in that room, or watching at home, could have predicted the storm about to unleash. This wasn't just an interview. It was about to become television history. Stick around, because what happened next shocked everyone. Kelly settles into her seat, the studio lights warm on her face, her casual jeans and sparkly top screaming approachable superstar. The audience, a mix of fans and Kelly Clarkson turtees and curious onlookers, leans forward, phones at the ready. Sharon kicks things off with her signature British wit. "Kelly, darling, you've been through the ringer, divorce, new show, new music. How do you do it all without cracking?" Kelly laughs it off, her Texas drawl warm and genuine. "You know, Sharon, life's like a song. Sometimes it's a ballad, sometimes it's rock and roll. But I'm stronger for it." The other co-hosts, Sarah Gilbert looking polished and professional, Carrie and Inaba with her dancer's poise, nod along, chiming in with light compliments. The vibe is friendly, promotional, everything you'd expect from a feel-good segment. But then Sharon leans in, her red hair catching the light like a warning signal, and drops the first bomb. "Stronger? Really? Because from what I've heard, you've been peddling this body positivity message while hiding behind filters and edits. Isn't that a bit hypocritical?" The studio air thickens instantly. A hush falls over the audience, broken only by a few gasps. Kelly's smile falters for a split second, her blue eyes widening in surprise. She shifts in her chair, fingers tapping lightly on the armrest, a subtle sign of the tension building inside. Sarah tries to jump in. "Sharon, come on, Kelly's been so open about her journey." But Sharon waves her off with a manicured hand, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Open? Darling, open would be admitting that all this love yourself talk is just a marketing ploy. You've lost weight, gained it back, own it without the fairy tale." The camera operators exchange panicked glances, zooming in on Kelly's face as her cheeks flush. Producers in the control room, visible through the glass, start whispering furiously into headsets. The audience murmurs, some nodding in agreement, others shaking their heads in disbelief. Kelly takes a deep breath, her voice steady but edged. "Sharon, I've shared my struggles with the world, postpartum, heartbreak, all of it. It's not a ploy, it's my truth. Why turn this into an attack? What do you think, viewers? Is Sharon crossing a line here, or is she just keeping it real? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button now so you don't miss the twists in stories like this. Back to the drama. As the segment rolls on, the tension simmers like a pot about to boil over. Kelly tries to steer back to her album, mentioning a track about empowerment that hit #1. "It's about rising above the noise," she says, glancing at Sharon with a pointed smile. But Sharon isn't done. She pulls out a tablet, props for dramatic effect, and scrolls to an old interview clip of Kelly from years ago, projecting it on the big screen behind them. "Look at this, love. You said back then you'd never let fame change you. But now? Designer clothes, glam squads, seems like you've sold out to the very industry you bash." The audience reacts. A woman in the front row covers her mouth in shock, while a guy a few seats over starts filming on his phone. Carrie and fidgets, muttering, "This is getting intense." Under her breath, her attempt at lightening the mood falling flat. Kelly's hands clench subtly on her lap, her knuckles widening, a telltale sign she's holding back a storm. She leans forward, her voice dropping an octave, laced with that raw emotion fans know from her ballads. Sharon, I've earned every scar and every success. If sharing my story helps one person feel less alone, that's not selling out, that's purpose. The exchange hangs in the air, the studio clock ticking audibly in the silence. Producers gesture wildly from offstage, one even mouthing, "Cut to commercial!" But the live feed rolls on. And just when you think it might de-escalate, Sharon smirks and says, "Purpose? Or profit? Because your new book on self-love is flying off shelves while you're dodging the real questions about your ex and those custody battles." Boom, personal territory breached. Kelly's eyes flash with hurt, her posture straightening like a warrior ready for battle. The audience gasps collectively, the energy in the room electric. Sarah interjects again, her voice shaky. "Hey, let's keep it respectful." But it's too late. The fuse is lit. Hold on tight, because this is just the beginning. What will Kelly do next? Fight back with words that could end careers, or walk away with her head high? You won't believe the twist coming up. Keep reading, and remember, if stories like this get your heart racing, subscribe now. We drop gems like this every week. The escalation hits a new level as Kelly pauses, the weight of the accusation sinking in. Her divorce from Brandon Blackstock had been tabloid fodder, but she'd kept the details private for her kids' sake. Now here it was, dragged into the spotlight. "My family is off limits," Kelly says firmly, her voice trembling just enough to show the vulnerability beneath her strength. Sharon tilts her head, feigning innocence. "Off limits? You're the one who sings about it in your songs. Can't have it both ways, pet." The audience splits, half applauds Sharon's boldness, the other half boos softly, creating a cacophony that echoes through the studio. Carrie reaches over, patting Kelly's arm in a humanizing gesture, a small moment of solidarity amid the chaos. But Kelly pulls away gently, standing up halfway as if testing the waters. The camera shakes slightly as an operator adjusts, capturing the raw intensity. Producers rush the stage edge, security hovering like shadows. Viewers pause for a second. Have you ever been called out like this in public? How would you handle it? Share in the comments. Your stories fuel our community. And hey, if you're loving this deep dive into celeb drama, smash that subscribe button. We're only 5 minutes in, and trust me, the real fireworks are about to explode. Kelly composes herself, drawing on that inner fire that won her American Idol all those years ago. "Sharon, I've respected you as a trailblazer in this industry. But this is low, even for daytime TV." She glances at the audience, her eyes pleading for understanding. A fan in the third row wipes away a tear, mouthing, "We love you, Kelly!" The contrast is stark, Sharon's polished defiance against Kelly's raw authenticity. But then, in a surprising twist, Sharon softens, just a flicker. "I'm just saying what everyone's thinking," she mutters, but her voice wavers, hinting at her own past battles with public scrutiny. Is this regret, or another ploy? The studio holds its breath. Kelly could explode, or she could turn this into a teachable moment. What happens next will leave jaws on the floor. Don't stop now, the confrontation is heating up, and a shocking revelation from Kelly's past is about to surface. Keep going to find out if she stays or storms out. The studio lights seem to burn hotter now, casting sharp shadows across Kelly Clarkson's face as she stands halfway out of her seat, her gaze locked on Sharon Osbourne. The air in the talk studio is thick with tension, the kind that makes your palms sweat and your heart race. The audience, a sea of wide eyes and half-open mouths, is split, some whispering support for Kelly, others murmuring in agreement with Sharon's relentless probing. The cameras zoom in, capturing every flicker of emotion, Kelly's clenched jaw, Sharon's sly smirk, and the nervous glances of co-hosts Sarah Gilbert and Carrie and Inaba. Producers hover at the stage's edge, headsets buzzing with frantic orders, but this train is off the rails, and no one's stopping it now. Kelly's voice, steady but laced with fire, cuts through the silence. "Sharon, you want to talk about truth? Let's talk about using someone's pain for ratings." The crowd gasps, a ripple of shock rolling through the room. But what Sharon says next will leave everyone stunned. Stay with us, because this moment is about to go viral. Kelly lowers herself back into her chair, but her posture screams defiance, her hands gripping the armrests like she's holding on to her last shred of patience. Sharon leans back, unfazed, twirling a pen between her fingers as if orchestrating the chaos. "Oh, Kelly, don't play the victim," she says, her British accent sharp as a blade. "You've built a career on oversharing, divorce songs, therapy confessions. But when someone asks the hard questions, you dodge. Why not just admit you're not as real as you claim?" The accusation lands like a punch, and the audience reacts instantly. A woman in the back row shakes her head in disgust, while a man nearby claps, egging Sharon on. Sarah tries to pivot, her voice tight. "Okay, let's talk about Kelly's new album. It's incredible, right?" But Sharon ignores her, pulling up another clip on her tablet, this time a paparazzi photo of Kelly at a low moment post-divorce, looking exhausted outside a studio. "This is you, isn't it? Not so breakaway strong here, love." The screen behind them flashes the image, and the crowd murmurs, some audibly uncomfortable. What do you think, viewers? Is Sharon exposing hard truths, or is she bullying Kelly on live TV? Drop your take in the comments below. We're dying to hear your thoughts. And if you're hooked on this drama, hit that subscribe button now to catch every twist in stories like this. We're barely halfway through, and trust me, the heat's about to turn up. Kelly's eyes narrow, her breath catching as she stares at the photo. The image is a gut punch, a moment she thought was private, now weaponized for all to see. Her voice trembles, not with weakness but with barely contained fury. "That was me at my lowest, Sharon. A mom trying to hold it together for her kids. You think dragging that out makes you clever?" The studio falls silent, the only sound a faint hum from the cameras and the nervous tapping of Carrie-Anne's foot. Carrie-Anne jumps in, her voice soft but urgent. "Sharon, maybe we should move on." But Kelly raises a hand, stopping her. "No, Carrie-Anne, let's do this. If Sharon wants real, I'll give her real." The audience leans forward, phones raised, capturing every second. Kelly's vulnerability is palpable, but there's a steel in her tone that hints at something big coming. She takes a deep breath, her eyes scanning the crowd, connecting with a young woman in the front row who nods back, tears in her eyes. "Here's your moment to weigh in. Have you ever had a private struggle thrown in your face? How would you handle Kelly's spot right now?" Share in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We're dropping epic stories like this every week, and you won't want to miss what's next. Sharon senses the shift, her smirk fading just a fraction. She tries to regain control, her voice dripping with mock sympathy. "Kelly, we all love a comeback story, but don't you think it's convenient how your struggles always line up with an album drop?" The accusation is a low blow, implying Kelly's pain is just a marketing stunt. The crowd reacts with a mix of boos and cheers, the divide growing sharper. A producer offstage gestures wildly, mouthing, "Go to commercial!" But the director shakes his head. No way they're cutting this. Kelly stands fully now, her 5 feet 3 inches frame radiating a presence that fills the room. "You know what, Sharon? I've spent years building people up, singing about hope, and yeah, I've been broken. But I don't exploit others' pain to feel powerful." Her words land like a thunderclap, and the audience erupts in applause, though some still side with Sharon, shouting, "Tell it like it is!" The contrast is electric. Kelly's raw honesty versus Sharon's calculated provocation. But then, a shocking twist drops. Sharon, undeterred, pulls out a final card, a rumor from an obscure gossip blog claiming Kelly's new book on self-love was ghostwritten to capitalize on her public image. "Is this your truth, Kelly, or just another product?" she asks, holding up the tablet with a headline screaming betrayal. The studio freezes, the air sucked out of the room. Kelly's face pales, her eyes glistening with unshed tears, but her jaw sets firm. The cameras catch every angle, Sarah's horrified expression, Carrie-Anne's hand covering her mouth, and the audience's collective gasp. Security steps closer, sensing the storm about to break. Kelly's next move could either shatter her image or cement her legacy. What will she do? Don't look away now, because Kelly's about to unleash something no one saw coming. Will she walk off the set, or deliver a speech that changes everything? Keep reading to find out. and subscribe to stay locked into moments that redefine television history. The Talk Studio is a pressure cooker, the air crackling as Kelly Clarkson stands tall, her eyes locked on Sharon Osbourne. The audience is frozen, phones up, capturing the moment Sharon accused Kelly of faking her self-love book. Kelly's voice, raw and unwavering, cuts through. Sharon, that book is every tear, every late night, every moment I fought to love myself again. You want to call it fake? That's your shame, not mine. The crowd erupts in cheers, a wave of support drowning out scattered boos. Sharon opens her mouth, but Kelly's done. She turns to the audience, her voice softening. This is for anyone who's been torn down, you are enough. She walks off, heels clicking, leaving Sharon speechless. Sarah and Carrie stammer, trying to salvage the segment, but the damage is done. The studio is chaos, producers scramble, cameras shake, and the audience is divided, some chanting Kelly's name. Clips flood social media, trending with #KellyStrong. Sharon's reputation takes a hit, while Kelly's fans rally, praising her grace under fire. Days later, Kelly's book sales soar, her speech inspiring thousands. Sharon issues a half-hearted apology, but the internet's verdict is clear: Kelly won. What do you think? Did Kelly handle it right? Comment below and subscribe for more epic showdowns.